Hey everybody, old Pops here, and I headed off to Arkansas with my good friend Matt Watson yesterday. And when I got over to this lake over by Springdale, Elmdale, I found that the Arkansas Wildlife Department was over there putting in some Christmas trees, and they're doing their part to try to help restore habitat to some of these old lakes over there in northwest Arkansas. So I thought I would just give you a quick look at how many trees they have on their barge. And boy, let me tell you, they had a lot more than that going out there. Now we ended up going over and fishing there at Elmdale, and I did not do any good. And we spent about 2 hours on the lake, and I just didn't find what I was looking for. Matt and I weren't real happy with the fishing there. Now I'm not saying that it's not good at some point in time, but we had another lake that we wanted to try to get to. So we headed over to a power plant lake, hot water lake, called Swebco, and it was on the way back home for me. And when we got over to Swebco, we noticed that the wildlife department had put a whole bunch of brush piles in over there, and we got to finding some crappie in those brush piles, and we had us a big time over there. Now, one of the things that we found out about Swebco was those guys stocked 22,000 black crappie about a year and a half ago, and up until that point the crappie were pretty well wiped out of the reservoir. It's full of really big black bass, and I think a lot of the bass ate a lot of the fry, the small crappie. But they have made a commitment to restock those crappie over there, and they've put in a whole bunch of habitat, and I really think in the next few years that this Swebco lake is going to be excellent for really nice crappie. Now it was cold over there. It was about 34 degrees. The water was warm, and when you caught a crappie, he was warm as toast because of that hot water outlet over there. And I'm getting ready to show you some of the nice crappie we caught and how we did it. There you can see Matt reeling one up, and what we did was we just went out there and found some of those brush piles that the wildlife department had recently put in, and we just had us big time. So let's go over a few of the catches and talk a little bit about what we were doing. But the water was 57 degrees, and the air was about 33 or 34. So, you know, the wind was cold, but we were having a good time. So I get a lot of questions about my live scope and how I'm running things, and here you're getting ready to see me close in on this brush pile we found. I'm using my GPS for my Minn Kota trolling motor, and I've got a down view on my top live scope right there, and I've got a forward view that runs on my trolling motor. So this is a lot different than the way folks usually use live scopes, and yes, it does take 2 live scope boxes to accomplish this, but I can drive right to those brush piles and then set right on them, top of them with spot lock, and pick those crappie off. So I don't fish with forward view very much, but I use my forward view to find those brush piles, and then I set up on top of them. Now in deep water, like we've got over there at Swebco, we were catching our fish in 30 foot of water. So, you know, you got to be really, really still to be able to sit there and keep those crappie kickers down there in that cone, on that drop off in that live scope cone. The Charger VMAG does a great job, and that Ultrex trolling motor also helps keep the VMAG right there to where we can get those kickers right down on top of that brush and get to yanking in those crappie. Okay, let her down there slow and let's see if we can get a
fall down.
Yeah. Okay, stop it. I got out of the cone a little bit. There he is. I think he had it.
He had the whole time.
Now these crappie are not the biggest crappie that I get to go fish for, but I tell you what, they are a lot of fun to catch. And man, some of those guys, when they got up there 10 or 11 inches, they were aggressive. They were flat gulping that crappie kicker down, and it's always fun to feel them hit the thump, or feel that thump, you know. So we just kept doing this over and over and over, and we just kept finding a few more brush piles along the way. And I'll show you a little bit more about the live scope as we move forward right here. Some of these fish were real aggressive. They were taking our baits 8-10 foot above the top of the brush piles. Now we didn't keep any fish. We weren't over there for a fish fry, but we sure had a good time catching them. So I'm going to bump the speed of this clip up right here, but this is the tackle that I was fishing with. A Fle Fly SR20 reel on a 6-foot Fle Fly graphite spinning rod, and I was using 6-pound micro braid. I was tying my jigs in unison on this particular pile, and that is a clinch knot that I'm tying on that crappie kicker. That's black and chartreuse with the natural color 16th ounce big eye head. Go up about 16-18 inches, and I tie a Palomar knot, and that's going through a 16th ounce white big eye, and that's our new color of crappie kicker electric minnow that'll be available here before too long. So I've got that jig, those two jigs tied right there on my line, and then I'm going to pinch a split shot on here later on, because it's really important to keep plenty of weight down there when you're having to fish with live scope deep. And you can see those waves rolling by. Oh, and I can't forget, I was tipping these with our brand new Smelly Smacks product. If you haven't tried those, you're going to love them. They don't fall off the hook, and whoo, boy do they smell. So the black and chartreuse crappie kicker got a chartreuse smack, and then on the electric minnow color I put a pink smack. And then you'll see me put that sinker on here, drop down, and I'm in the chips. I'm ready to go fishing. Hey, my old buddy Mark McGuire says, never beg them to bite. So when you wear a pile out, fire that boat back up and get to finding some active fish. And that's just exactly what we did. We used our side scan, our down scan, and our GPS to find these brush piles and then get back on them. And here you're going to see Matt drop down. And I tell you, when you get on a new pile, these fish were aggressive. Watch this crappie come up and hit this thing. He hits it right there. Matt kind of tries to set the hook right there, misses the fish, leaves his jig down there. The fish comes up, hits it again, misses it, circles back around, and pops it on the third time Matt gets a hook in him. So that is a lot of fun to watch what's going on down there. We were starting to get cold and it was getting late in the day, so I ended up going to a bigger crappie kicker, a 2.5 inch black and chartreuse with a 3/16 ounce big eye head, thinking that I might be able to yank in some bigger fish. Tipped that with the chartreuse smelly smack, and it really didn't seem to matter. The fish in that lake are all about the same size. We never caught anything probably over 11 inches. But we had a great time fishing for them, and it didn't, like I said, it didn't really matter on the size of the baits, but the color really did matter over there. Those fish wanted something with a dark contrast to it, like our purple and pink, black and chartreuse, buster brown, which is brown and chartreuse. Those were the colors that seemed to really work good over there in that clear water. So I hope these tips help you, and if you get a chance, jump over there and hit some of those lakes over there in northwest Arkansas. I think you'll find that they're pretty good, and I know that we will be back over there. Old Matt likes yanking those crappie in, and I like to see him smile when he's doing that. So guys, we really appreciate you watching the videos at Outdoors with Old Pops. If you like them, share these with your friends and let everybody know that we're out here catching crappie and white bass and catfish, and you like these videos. And as always, we wish you nothing but good luck out there. We'll see y'all later.